Hey everyone, Keisha here. So today we're going to be doing chapter 6 of Proverbs, and this one's about avoiding disaster. And this is funny because I feel like every single time I do Bible study, later that day, I'm literally tested, and whether I fail or not, I actually learn in real time the lesson that I read. So this one's going to be interesting. Let's get into it. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself when thou art come into the hand of thy friend. Go, humble thyself, and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. And there's a little passage here. It says, lessons through nature. The ants teach lessons of patient industry, of perseverance in surmounting obstacles, of providence for the future. And the birds are teachers of the sweet lessons of trust. Our Heavenly Father provides for them, but they must gather the food, they must build their nest and rear their young. Every moment they are exposed to the enemies that seek to destroy them, yet how cheerily they go about their work. How full of joy are their little songs. Education 117 and 118. Beautiful. Verse 7. Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart, he deviseth mischief continually, he soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly, suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. These 6 things doth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. More advice about avoiding adultery. Oh boy. My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproof of instruction are the way of life. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and adulteress will hunt for the precious life. That's crazy. Can a man take fire in his bosom, and his clothes not be burnt? Can one go upon hot coals, and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whoso toucheth her shall not be innocent. Men do not despise a thief, if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore 7-fold. He shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Wow. So what is interesting about this verse? this chapter, I actually, the first couple verses, I feel, so like I said, whether I fail and learn, in real time what the verse taught me that day, yesterday, for example, what I came to understand, and this morning, as I was pondering it and, talking to God about it, you can't run from pain. You can't run from things that hurt you. A lot of times, I think as a woman, I try to shield myself from pain and suffering in certain situations, maybe like emotionally or mentally. Physical, I don't care. It's like, it comes and goes, whatever. You fall, you scratch, whatever. But I realized that I can't do that. That's going to prevent me from growing, and it's going to make me a worse person exponentially and exacerbate that process. It's going to weaken my character. And I noticed that the people who push you to do things and experience things that actually bring out emotions within you care about you the most. They are the ones who want you to do well. And I would say that this is even a part of avoiding disaster. You can't separate yourself from those people just because there was something that was said that made you uncomfortable when it was necessary for you to grow. Growth is never comfortable. It's nauseating, it's aggravating. Sometimes you want to punch the wall. Like, let's just be honest. And sometimes you just want to lay down in bed and cry. Just cry it out. But I came to understand within myself, it's okay to feel the emotions. It's okay to experience those things, but you can't move in that moment. In that moment, if you need to let your heart bleed, let it drain. Let it completely drain, because at the end of the day, can you run or walk while you're bleeding out? No, you have to wait for the bleeding to stop. You have to mitigate that, or else you're going to die. Like, you're just going to bleed out and die. And I think it's the same thing in this situation. I think avoiding disaster is allowing yourself to experience certain things and having those connections with certain people, and then going and humbling yourself, like it said here. I mean, personally, this is what I did to the friend. And I couldn't really sleep well. I couldn't, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? No, that was not cool. I didn't handle that well. There's a better approach. There's a better approach. The rest of this chapter I really appreciated because it talks about nature. There was a passage that talked about nature and how God gives us things in life. He puts us in a circumstance where we can have what we need, but it is our obligation to now go and search for those things and make sure that we put them together in the way that's necessary for us to thrive. And I think that's important. Now, the froward mouth, avoiding, mischief and, all the calamity that will come to you if you don't, being proud and lying and, shedding innocent blood. Of course, these are things that we can all reconcile with or resonate with. And quite frankly, those I think are a little bit easier to avoid in some situations, at least for me as a woman. I don't really like to be physically violent. I'm more internally emotional. Avoiding adultery is very important, obviously, and I think it was very interesting to even talk about how, the dishonor and the wound and the fact that it will cause men to come down to one single piece of bread because of how detrimental, taking a strange woman into your home is. Sleeping with a strange woman, that will completely destroy you and all of your assets, and wound you. And that a part of this even comes from jealousy. So, I will leave it there. I will say, to avoid disaster for me personally going forward, I want to understand what is the right approach and utilize all the tools that God is giving me in real time, and understand that I'm working for it and be joyful about it, regardless of how difficult that process may be, because it is necessary for me to thrive. So thank you everybody for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this little Bible study today, and I hope that you are avoiding disaster and reminded to avoid adultery. Ciao.